Disclaimer! If you're watching this video, you understand that you may be spoiled to key events that occur in Toradora, and you relinquish the right to complain about spoilers in the comments section below. Also, Toradora is the property of JC Staff and Yuyuko Takamiya, both of whom are the sole owners of any footage I show today. I beg of them, please don't take down this video. Please! I can't tell if I'll react the same way every time I watch Toradora because, I've only seen it a grand total of 3 times, but if that's the burden I'm forced to live with, then so be it. Whether it's that one scene where Taiga rescues Ryuji from nearly drowning and establishes her territory, or the whole Christmas party debacle, or even that one moment where Taiga unknowingly confesses her feelings for Ryuji, thinking she's talking to Kitamura, the entire series just fills me up with all these warm feelings no matter how long it's been since my last viewing. So in this episode of Anime Ambush, I wanted to further explore that. What is it about Toradora that manipulates my emotions and cranks my nostalgia meter up to overwhelming new heights? Is it the way the series takes the characters on a complete journey that is inspiring to terminally single people like myself? Or maybe it's the fact that each of the main characters, and even some of the side characters, exhibit likable yet flawed personalities that mesh well. Whatever it is, today we're going to take a look at how Toradora attempts to tug the heartstrings and compromise you emotionally through various factors, including character realization, background music, and the utilization of a positive and uplifting romantic comedy storyline that hasn't been seen in the same way in recent anime seasons. Toradora initially aired from October 2008 to March 2009 and follows Ryuji Takasu and Taiga Aisaka, who are both heavily judged by their peers for the way they look. Ryuji's eyes make him appear to be a delinquent, while Taiga's height and fiery attitude often tend to prevent her from making many friends. In time, their friendship begins to blossom as they attempt to help each other achieve their romantic desires with different people, and along the way discover that sometimes what you think you want isn't what you actually want. In fact, it's rather interesting how their relationship is teased through the portmanteau of Tora Tiger and Dora Dragon, animals that from the beginning of the series represent Taiga and Ryuji respectively. It's such a natural start to a somewhat obvious romance and firmly establishes their commonalities in their current status as social outcasts who have accepted their supposed lot in life until one fated night when Taiga adds attempted murder to her list of tsundere tendencies. Sundencies, if you will. Taiga Aisaka, if I had to characterize her in non-human terms, is well categorized in the series as a palm-top tiger. She's small, but if you get on her bad side, you might want to watch out for flying desks and human projectiles. So in a way, the fear that most people have for her when the series begins is somewhat justified, until you look beyond the surface and find a girl who just wants love and acceptance, but who isn't willing to stop being who she is in order to obtain said love and acceptance. It's a character who I'm sure you know, perhaps it's someone in your family or in your close circle of friends, but I'd be willing to bet that there are a lot of people who just want to be loved for who they are, and not for a mask they've constructed based on what they think the world wants to see. In the case of Ryuji, he's got a similar situation, but at the same time he's somewhat different. Ryuji is someone who doesn't really care what the world thinks about his resting asshole face, but not for any other reason than he just doesn't know any other way of life. It's something he's grown up with and adjusted to. If he was forced to go his whole life without making many friends because people were too scared of him, yeah, he'd be disappointed, but it wouldn't stop him from living his life. It's only when he meets and befriends Taiga that he realizes that deep inside himself, he's wanted people to be able to look past his exterior and get to know and love the real Ryuji hidden beneath the surface. In this mutual desire, they find solace and decide they could be of use to each other, even if Taiga does her best to subjugate Ryuji, referring to him as her dog and making it clear who's the boss. In time, their relationship develops as a shared equality and respect blossoms once they become friends, confidants, and partners in crime, so to speak. What's interesting too is that throughout the series, Taiga continually pushes her affection for Yusaku Kitamura, so once she begins to realize her true feelings for Ryuji, it's like she can't admit it to herself and wears a mask in order to keep up the status quo. Meanwhile, it's not until much later that Ryuji realizes he's no longer in love with Minori Kushieda, and it seems rather sudden that he says it out loud, but it's really him coming to terms with the idea that loving Minori was his own way of upholding the status quo. It's almost as if they start the series completely isolated from the world, looking in on what they so desperately want to become part of, and before they know it, they've already assimilated into the world which seeks to maintain appearances, and wants to remove anything that doesn't make sense to them. In this case, their feelings for each other don't make sense, but since when does love make sense? Looking back on the entire year they spent together, it's something they never expected would happen. Ironically, it's only as they are setting each other up with the ones who they think they're in love with that they come to the realization that they were in love with each other the entire time. It just took some time and patience to realize it. I find this to be the primary reason why the series is so powerful and uplifting to me. It tells a story of two people who were lost in the madness of this world, who managed to find each other and stick through the good and bad times, until finally realizing their true feelings and finding their way in the process. In no way is the series suggesting that it's an easy process, especially when both characters make it through life-threatening situations before coming to their respective conclusions. However, it's saying that even if you find yourself lost, even if you're alone, even if you're desperately seeking social and romantic relationships, you need to become okay with who you are, accept the person you are, before that special person will come waltzing into our lives. It may even be like Taiga and Ryuji's case, where they helped each other overcome their psychological hang-ups in the process, but it's not always like that. And to expect something like that is to ignore the fact that each of us has a responsibility to put in some effort to improve our lives, rather than wait and hope for the best. I guess what I'm saying is, don't be like Taiga and Ryuji before the series began. Don't just give up on love, or doing what you want to do just because the world seems to tell you to. Don't wait on someone else to come along and show you that you can do anything you set your mind to. And don't wear a mask to keep up the status quo. Be yourself, and don't feel bad about that. If people want to, they'll see the real you shining through. If not, then they're not meant to be a part of your life. Yusaku Kitamura, Minoru Kushieda, and Ami Kawashima all go through their own crises and developments that help to further push Taiga and Ryuji together. I like that in Kitamura's case, he goes from being Taiga's love interest to a truly three-dimensional character who has his own ideals, vision, and will do anything to achieve them. Interestingly enough, his arc is fueled by the feelings he had as Taiga rejected him, and how he moves forward from that and does his part to push Taiga and Ryuji together is great, and showcases just how much more he is than a simple side character. Same goes for Minori, who quite possibly might have feelings for Taiga, but seems to be pushing them down out of some fear that she's not good enough. She even admits that she might be a lesbian to Ryuji, which is one of the most awkward and hilarious scenes, because she's the object of his affection, so you can just imagine his mind racing. Alas, she does confess her feelings for him near the end of the series, which provokes his realization that he's in love with Taiga, so she has her own role to play where that's concerned. Ami actually serves her purpose as a foil to Ryuji and Taiga's somewhat father-daughter relationship for most of the series, calling him out on playing house, and for a moment you might think Ryuji and Ami would be together because of her obvious attempts at making him see that if something didn't change, there would be chaos in their group of friends. That said, I like to think her realistic approach contributed to his decision to acknowledge his feelings and go after Taiga. Musically, Toradora packs a punch with a couple of songs that remind me of the feels that are prevalent throughout. It seems, to my knowledge, there are many anime titles that have a few tracks that bring the audience right back to that world, no matter how long it's been since they've entered said world. In Toradora's case, the first is a song called Lost My Pieces, and it's one of those orchestral tracks that might not mean much to the average listener, unless they have context to back it up. However, as someone who has seen the series more than once, it's a song that perfectly encapsulates everything it represents. Earlier, I pushed how the series is a positive and uplifting romantic comedy, but it takes a lot of heartache before the characters get to where they're going. Lost My Pieces is a forlorn song of regret that starts off with what I will guess is either electronic keyboard or some sort of music box, because I'm not going to pretend I'm a musical genius, and then proceeds to swell with a string section that just smooths over the eardrums and quite honestly feels like the music is hugging your heart in response to it breaking. It's a sad but powerful song that has an unexplainable strength to it. Almost like there's sadness, but it's a beautiful kind of sadness. Like the sadness you feel when you know that something good is ending, but you look back on all the good times with a smile. Joining Lost My Pieces is pretty much the entire set of OPs and EDs, which perfectly showcase the various feels of each half of the season. Pre-Parade starts us off with a fast-paced and chaotic song that I believe is meant to represent the carefree nature of the first half, while Silky Heart picks up on that chaos and smooths it out, while at the same time implying that in the final episodes, things will heat up, and you might long for the days of the first set, when things weren't nearly as powerful as they are now. Vanilla Salt is the first ED, which does the same thing as Pre-Parade and offers an upbeat, fun-filled song of happiness with a slight tinge of sadness, while Orange further extends Silky Heart's sadness by offering a healthy dose of reality. I think both the second OP and ED does a good job of pushing the idea that the series is about to end, which just overwhelmed me with a bittersweet feeling at first, one that can be felt to this day. I think, like with most things, context is necessary when discussing the music that goes along with a particular series, but when that context is present, the music can take you back to the feelings you felt when you first heard it. If you listen to Lost My Pieces knowing what happens in the series at critical moments when the song is played, that right there is emotional manipulation, and it's a damn beautiful thing at the same time. Toradora proves that no matter how many times you give up on what you think you want, or how many times you think you've lost in this game called life, something is waiting for you just around the corner. You just have to find it for yourself. As they say in the very beginning of Toradora, in this world there's this thing no one's ever seen. This thing, it's very kind and gentle, and if anyone could actually see it, there'd be a whole bunch of people wanting to have it. Maybe that's why the world keeps it hidden from everyone. If it's hard to get, that makes it even more special. Yeah, but someday, someone will find it, and whoever does, they'll be the ones who are supposed to find it, because that's the way it's meant to be. Thanks for watching Anime Ambush. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and invite you to check out more videos I've done by clicking the annotations you see before you. If you'd like to stay informed about future videos from this channel, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. If you're looking for other ways to support the channel, consider becoming my patron and have a bigger say in what content I produce. Until next time, this has been James Hurd signing off from Anime Ambush. I'll see you next time.